So, I haven't made a real vid in a long time. And I kind of don't really feel like it, because I know no one's going to give a shit. You know, life is still the same, right? Just go to school and come home, drink some Red Bull, sit on the laptop, whatever. I guess what I want to talk about is Venezuela and Black Ops 7. So as everybody knows, Black Ops 7, they put like no effort in. Apparently, like some of the stickers they were using for like the achievements and power-ups you can get, they use fucking like ChatGPT to generate them. They had like no coherent storyline. I think they used AI to write most of the stories. And they basically just took like classic Call of Duty zombie, like, well, not zombies, but classic Call of Duty villains, and made them like giant towering behemoths, and you just ran around shooting them until like their health bar went to zero and they died. Like, apparently it was the most garbage campaign ever. Like, it made no sense. And then there's the alleged U.S. invasion of Venezuela. You know, the Americans sound like they're going to go for like all of South America, trying to lock down the home waters. What I'd say is that this is kind of a symptom of contraction. Like, you know, the West is not as powerful anymore. Or, you know, I guess we could say a lot of the world's governments are realizing that, like, you know, the way they've been doing things is not very sustainable, right? Falling birth rates and overinflated markets and whatever, and maybe to a degree it's been done on purpose, but when states get desperate and realize they're losing control, losing monopoly, right, they start turning inwards, and then they start directing their desperation and their rage and their fear against their own population and any nearby enemies who are easy pickings, right? Hence the South American adventure that's probably coming soon. Or, as I like to mockingly call it, Vietnam 2.0. You know, instead of like Fortunate Son, it'll be it'll probably still be the same thing. Someone's coming across the street now, so I'm gonna have to be careful about this. But anyways, right, and this is kind of connected to Black Ops 7. Right, like, probably half the reason Black Ops 7 is so, like, garbage is because the developers have realized that most of us are, like, tired and burnt out. We just want some, like, fun slop, and we don't care anymore. Like, we already realize that everything sucks, so we're gonna buy into it, like, pay for it anyway, right? So, like, there's just no real reason to, like, actually put any effort in. I mean, let me think. Nope. Like, we're the voting population, and we would rather, like, I don't know, go to big concerts and watch baseball and, I don't know, talk about, like, immigration or whatever, right? Like, minor stuff, rather than actually addressing the real issues, which is, you know, rampant bureaucracy and corporate monopolies and, you know, everyone just being distracted and old tribal instincts being weaponized against each other, right? And obviously also the rise of authoritarianism, which is not helped by digital, you know, technology, especially AI, because it gives states a new method of surveillance better than anything they've ever had before, because it's like way more invasive and we're already used to it. Like, imagine if Stalin had a supercomputer that could predict every opponent who would ever like rise and stand against them, based on like behavior patterns and like the data that was being gathered about them, you know? Like, the Soviet Union would have had even bloodier purges and probably like the biggest gulags in the world in that case. Just an example. And you basically like combine this with just like a mix of like, you know, the people who are kind of supposed to keep us like entertained and keep us alive, they aren't really trying anymore. Like everyone's just trying to maintain the system because, you know, we all know it's kind of falling apart and we might as well extract what we can before it, you know, collapses like a sack of wet paper, right? And then our so-called leaders, you know, the leaders of the quote-unquote free world, right? They're realizing like, hey, the free world had a nice time, you know, with like rampant money printing and I don't know, and decoupling and just basically just consuming and enjoying the benefits of letting other people do the dirty work and just numbing ourselves and like drinking and whatever other shit people do. I mean, drinking is a big thing, and it's kind of been a big thing forever, so that's not really a great example, right? They're realizing this is fucked. The ship is sinking, so like we're all pretty much just like waiting for things to like implode. I guess to kind of like just go the boom, bye, it's done. Like, you know, there you go. Like everything fell apart, right? That's kind of what we're all waiting for. And for someone like me, that like really sucks because like I hear even my how should I put this? I hear my friends, the ones who like actually have lives and aren't like, you know, basement dwellers, like even they're not really expecting much. Like even they're complaining about how expensive housing is, right? Like one guy was basically saying like, you know, I want to get back to work, you know, taking contracts because if I don't, I'm gonna run out of money. This one classmate, right? She bought some food from the cafeteria. I looked at her and I'm like, that's $7. Like, are you sure that's a wise financial decision? And she's just like, nope. But I don't care, you know, because she already knows that. Like, you know, she already knows she's spent a lot of money on this stuff, and it's just like, what's a little more gonna hurt? You know, I'm already struggling with payments and stuff anyway. Like, fuck it, you know, let's go all in, go broke or go home. And right then there's, you know, some people I know who are, you know, more well-to-do, right, and they're living it up because they still have, right, they have a wide social circle, you know, to support them. They still have a lot of money, some of which may be coming from, you know, family that's already been established, right? They won a genetic lottery, right? They had luck on their side, or they still do, you know, so they're kind of able to tune this stuff out and not pay attention. And I mean, fair enough. It's like, the world's always been fucked. Like, who really cares? It's gonna, you know, it's gonna burn like every 100 years anyway. Might as well let it light on fire and watch with a box of popcorn, right? But the point is just like, it kind of feels like we're all living in like the last days of like the Soviet Union, and we all know Moscow doesn't give two fucks, and we all know that the oligarchs are, you know, kind of starting to rise up and gather power, and we all know that the Soviet Union is going to, you know, implode. But you know, we still have bread on the table. We still have, you know, cartoons on the TV. We still got, you know, the beat up old Lada that, you know, you push down the hill with your friend to drive. And so, you know, some guy's walking by. I'm trying to make this look like a phone call. You know, no one really cares. No one really gives a shit. And we're all pretty much just going to sit here and, you know, right? We're going to watch the oligarchs take over Russia. We're going to watch the old Soviet government scramble around and panic. We're going to watch the military disband and leave all their tanks and planes and nukes just sitting around rotting, right? We're going to be waiting in long lines for like I don't know, like a piece of sausage. This is just an analogy I'm using, right? And we're just gonna sit here. The house is on fire, and we're just gonna let it burn us alive, I guess. And it's kind of just like, hey, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe we could do something, but we all hate each other and other factors, so no one's gonna do anything. And then in that case, it's just like, okay, so could I leave? Could I just not participate anymore? Because I don't want to be sitting here when you start, when the anvil, when the hammer comes down and drops on my head. And it's like, no, you can't do that. No, you're staying. You are stuck on this ship. You are not going anywhere. When holes start appearing in the hull and the thing starts going down, you're just going to drown with us. Sorry, sucks to be you. And if you're aware of this stuff, it's cool. Now you know exactly how many seconds you have before water totally fills your lungs and you end up in Davy Jones' locker. I see a lot of videos like the one I'm making now, and they're always talking about there's hope, right? We can form communities, right? We can rally together. We can build a better future. You got to keep fighting for what you believe in. And all that hope core nonsense. And it's just that's not gonna happen. Maybe one town among many can survive. Most people want stability. Most people want security. Most people want clear rules, protection from themselves, protection from each other, protection from perceived outsiders. This is literally just caveman tribal politics 101. I think that is what people really want. And in times of uncertainty, they will sacrifice anything. In some cases, even their own flesh and blood for this promised, Let me think for a minute. No, we're not going to do that. Shit. Yeah, some guy just walked by. I'm on my driveway wandering around filming this. I look like a crazy, like a crazy person. I'm just pretending I'm on a phone call. I don't really give a shit. And even if one town survives, right? Humans ultimately value stability more than so-called freedom, right? The Constitution, because most of you guys are probably American, is just a piece of paper that we all pretend to believe in, right? Because as soon as people start assuming the Constitution is going to be, eternal and dear forever, then that's when the system, can come in and start making some tweaks and, adding a few loopholes and cheating the system and pretending it's still totally fair even though it isn't, right? So on and so forth. And so nothing is going to change, right? At least in terms of the whole resistance thing, right? There is going to be no French Revolution. People are too neutered. People are too tired. People are too stressed. People are too insulated, right? We are just going to very slowly and quietly fall apart. And, you can enjoy the show, because that's it. That's all you're doing. That's all you can do. But no more than that. Just, it's like someone, again, I've already made the ship analogy. It's like someone pouring hot water on you, and you're sitting in a chair, but you're basically strapped to the chair, so you just have to wait until they get bored of pouring hot water on you. And by that time, you're burnt to a crisp. So it's just like it doesn't matter anymore. Like even if they put cold water on you at that point, it's like you're like what is it? You're like, I don't know, homo barbecue or something. Homo barbecuous, right? It's like okay, like I'm already like a fucking like primate potato chip. Like the ice water is useless now. So I'm just voicing my opinion. Just I don't agree with all this shit. Like, you know, the consensus that like, oh, you know, we can still change things. There's going to be a great wave of reform, and you know, this guy's a hero or that guy's a hero. It's like no, it's over. It's too late. Just save yourself, save the people you care about, and yeah, good luck. Really, I don't know if I'm wrong. You can tell me, but I don't know who's gonna watch this, so yeah, whatever.